Welcome, everyone. We have head coach Dave Tippett with us. Reminder to use raise hand to ask your questions. We've got a couple questions lined up. We'll start with John Warrell. Go ahead, John.
Good afternoon, Dave. John Worrell here with the Associated Press. If I understand this correctly, you're in the Glenn Sather room. Knowing the history of what Glenn Sather's done, his history with the Oilers, does it make it in any sense comforting to be at home and in a room that pays tribute to the Oilers' history?
Well, I don't know if it's comfort just because we're here, but when you talk about the tradition of the Oilers and with some of the great Oilers between Glenn and Wayne and Mark Messier and Kevin Lowe and all the players that have come through here, it certainly gives you a sense of pride. It's a great franchise with a strong history, and when you mention those names, you think about winning. So if you can play in a place where those people are named after because of the legacy that they've left, that's good thoughts, whether you're at home or wherever you are.
Next question, Ryan Rashad. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Dave. This is kind of our first crack at things, not being able to watch practice. So we're going to test you out a little bit here and see what you're willing to tell us. Just on a couple of fronts, was there anybody who did not, any of your regulars who did not participate in practice today? And did you make any significant line changes or de-pairings?
Yeah, I changed all of them up, everything different, so you guys can guess from there. No, the only player that missed today is Riley Sheehan. Did not skate today, and so he was the only guy out. Everybody else on the ice, not a lot of big changes in the lines, other than Haas going in the middle where Riley Sheehan was. So that's about it.
Next question, Derek Van Diest. Derek, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Just wanted to ask you what you're looking for as a coach from this exhibition game. Are you kind of looking and evaluating and seeing how guys are, or do you just kind of open the gate and let them find their legs and let them get back up to game speed?
We're trying to get our mind in the right place. We've talked about building towards game one right from the start of this camp, and there's certain things you do to click your mind in to get going. We've had a lot of scrimmage time, but you get into a game, you got to get thinking right. The summer hockey's got to get out of you. You got to get up to speed in a hurry. So just doing little things right, make sure we're playing the right way, and focusing on getting better tomorrow. Those would be our goals going into the game. But it's I wish we probably had 2 exhibition games, but we've done lots of scrimmaging. But just to get your mind in the right place, so when game one comes, you understand what's at stake and the pace you're going to have to play at.
Next question, Tom Gulitti. Go ahead, Tom.
Hi, Dave. I don't know if you've watched other sports and what they've done without fans in the building, but I'm just wondering what you're anticipating it'll be like to play tomorrow. I don't know if you've seen what they've done there to your building so far, but what do you think the atmosphere will be like? And will the guys be able to get past that because it's a rival and that'll kind of heat things up on its own?
You know what? I'm interested to see how the players react. I've been out in the bowl and looked at it. It looks really, I'm interested to see how it comes out on TV also, but the bowl looks very different than just an empty arena. So, once the players get out there and kind of take that in, I'm not sure how it'll go with whether there's music or crowd noise or whatever they're going to pump in there, but I think everybody's kind of wondering how it's going to go. Ultimately, the players, our group, we've talked about making sure that we're focused on the task at hand, whether there's noise, not noise, whatever it may be. We've got to still play to the capabilities that we expect, and those other things can become distractions if you let them. But for our group, we've talked about not letting anything, whether it's quiet or noise or no fans, whatever it is, that can't be a distraction.
Next question, Jason Gregor. Go ahead, Jason.
Dave, for the exhibition game tomorrow, you have 13 forwards and 7 defense when you're allowed to dress, and sounds like you're going to. How does that change your approach? What is your approach with only one exhibition game, and how you want to try to get all, 20 skaters involved?
Well, just the extra defenseman, extra forward, you'll try to get them some time. You're looking at people that maybe won't be in game one, but you're looking at want to get them some game action. So I like that the NHL's done that, given a couple extra guys some time. So, you know, you're looking at your group, and especially your group where you think you're going to be on game one, and making sure your group gets enough minutes to feel good about what they're doing. And it's just, again, it's part of the process of getting yourself ready for game one.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
D-Town Haas has really been skating hard, but you've lost for the time being your number one penalty killer. I would presume in Riley Shane, because he was Josh Archibald. How does that change things, considering you had the second best penalty kill in the league?
Well, we have confidence in a lot of people. That's one of the things about Haas. We've been trying to get him involved in that a little more, and the other group was you know, we were pretty good through the regular season. So, you know, we've lost Riley for a day or two here. So I'm not saying that we don't have that. So we'll look at all our options, and you know, as we get to Saturday, we hope to have those options in place. If not, we have people that can fill in those holes.
Next question to Steve Wino. Steve, as soon as your microphone's unmuted, you can go ahead.
Hey, Dave, I'm curious, what do you remember from those 5-game series you played in as a player, and what you can tell your players about what that's like compared to what they're used to of a 7-game series?
I remember those 5-game series where you played 4 games in the first 5 days. It was back-to-back, travel day, back-to-back. So it was, you have to be ready for the grind. And a unique situation like this, you know, you're going from not playing to playing playoff hockey or style hockey. So you've got to embrace the grind mentally, physically, and you know, we've got the first 3 games. There's days off in between, so manage that. But I think the biggest thing is to manage it with the recognition that we haven't played in a while. So it's a whole new ball game. Usually when I played those series, we just finished a regular season, you're jumping right into it. But we're in a little different situation right here, so you'll monitor your players very closely about where they are injury-wise, fatigue-wise, and make sure you try to maximize during the games.
Next question, Rob Tychkowski. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, just you talked about getting up to speed quickly. Is Calgary a good opponent in that respect, given the natural intensity between the two teams?
I think any team would be, but I think you're going to see teams really concentrate on what they're doing. You know, we'll try to make it as regular as a game as we can, with preparation and playing in those things. But you know, our focus is using tomorrow's game to get ready for Saturday's game. So it doesn't matter the opponent you have. We're gonna do what we've got to do. You know, there's obviously us and Calgary have a rivalry, and that probably brings a little extra emotion into it. But I look at that as that's a good thing to get our players emotionally engaged right now and get ready for game one.
Next question, Terry Jones. Terry, as soon as your microphone's unmuted, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, can you sort of encapsulate what you think's coming ahead? Not with the preseason exhibition game, whatever you want to call it, but what caliber of hockey do you expect? You've had, you know, all this time off, short camp. You get a best of 5, and then you get into the regular stuff if you go through. But there's no travel involved in this. There's some things that would make you think it might be better, and there's some things that make you think it might be a little shabby. So how do you think? What's ahead?
I think you're going to see the players really dialed in, and I know they've been off a long time, but every team's had camps. I know just about every coach that I've seen around has done a lot of scrimmaging in camps. So the importance of the situation, importance of the games, I think you'll see players dialed in. Now, that being said, will there be some sloppy play? Possibly. You know, but I think you're going to see teams that coaches I've talked to are all trying to dial in as quick as you can, and especially in the you know, the first round, the play-in, the best of 5, your margin for error is very slim. So you better be on top of your game right from the start. And critical mistakes could cost you games, and those are the ones that just because you haven't played for a while doesn't give you an excuse to make mistakes. You gotta be ready when the puck drops, and we have to, as a team, play well as a team, which is there's no time like a regular exhibition game this season to jump in. Okay, we'll fix things. You got to be ready to go on game one. So I think you'll see players dialed in. I think you'll see great effort, and it'll lead to some real exciting hockey.
Okay, after this question, we'll take 2 more questions. Tracy Myers, go ahead.
Hi, Tip. I was asking Mike Smith this earlier. First of all, hope you're doing well, but you're home, but you're not home. And just so how interesting is this situation from your vantage point?
Well, we're in the same boat as all the other teams. We're in our dressing room one day and then out of it the next day. We've tried to prepare for that during training camp. We've had, scrimmages, players dress out of different dressing rooms around. So you just try to deal with it. But we're looking at it as we're a road team. We don't have any advantage of it. There's no fans. We don't get to use our facilities like we normally do. So we're just looking at it as every other team. I joked with the guys. I said, normal situation, you'd be living at home. At least you know how to get into the rink. But even our guys, with the way the bubble is constructed, everybody's wondering which direction they go, which door they get in. So we're no different than anybody else. And the rinks are, the ice surface itself and boards and glass and that are pretty identical around the whole league. So that part doesn't come into play. So I don't look at it as an advantage or disadvantage. I look at it as we're familiar, but other than that, we're on the same plane as everybody else.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can go ahead.
Dave, the Oilers' power play has been the best in the league. Would you like to see your 5-on-5 play better? Because most of the game will be played 5-on-5, and you fed off your power play during the regular season, but you're going to probably get fewer power play chances in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think if you look at the season, it was a kind of tale of two 5-on-5 seasons. The second half of the season, I thought we improved 5-on-5. That being said, I think there's still much more improvement needed if we have a chance to be successful in the playoffs. So you're right, our power play was excellent. Both our special teams were excellent. We relied on them sometimes, but in the second half of the season, it was less to that extent, and our 5-on-5 improved. But that's an onus we put on during training camp here, that we need to be a better 5-on-5 team and more consistent. And so those are things that we've focused on, and hopefully we can get to that point in the upcoming games.
Final question to Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hi, Dave. I'd like to take a crack at your favorite subject. What have you decided tomorrow in terms of how you work your goaltenders?
Pardon me, say that again?
What have you decided in terms of how you'll work your goaltenders tomorrow?
They'll both practice in the morning and get some good work, and then we'll decide who's going to play tomorrow night.
Thank you very much, Coach, and thanks to that brings to a conclusion the Oilers media availability.